Imagine an AI that doesn't just, answer your questions, but actually does your work for you.
Right.
I mean, planning a whole wedding, creating full reports, even ordering office supplies. It sounds a bit like science fiction, doesn't it?
It really does. Or, well, it did.
Mm.
Prepare to be surprised because that future,
Mm.
it's pretty much here now.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving deep into ChatGPT Agent. It's this brand new unified agent that basically promises to be your personal digital assistant.
Yeah. And for this deep dive, our insights are coming straight from the source, the OpenAI team themselves. So we're getting a direct look at how they built this capability and, crucially, what it can really do.
Exactly. Our mission today is to unpack this leap forward. How does this agent go from just thinking about a task to actually doing it, using all sorts of tools over potentially long periods for all kinds of tasks?
It's a really significant moment for AI, I think, and importantly for you, the listener.
So, okay, let's unpack this. To really get why this unified agent is such a big deal, we need to look back a bit. Before this, there were these two separate tools people might know, Operator and Deep Research.
Right.
Can you walk us through what they were? What problems did they solve on their own?
Sure. So Operator was basically an agent built for online tasks. Think booking reservations, sending emails, that sort of thing, interacting with web pages, logging into places you've okayed. It was really good at that kind of active web interaction.
Uh-huh.
Deep Research, on the other hand, was designed for, well, deep research, digging through the internet, pulling together high-quality reports, handling really long articles.
Okay.
They were definitely complementary, but they each had their limits.
Yeah.
Operator wasn't great with super long texts, and Deep Research couldn't really, use a website visually, click buttons, fill forms.
That makes sense. Different strengths.
Yeah.
So here's where it gets real interesting, right? How did these two separate useful tools lead to this vision for a unified agent? What was the push?
It was pretty clear, actually. It came directly from users. People were trying to get Operator to do deep research type things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they give Operator prompts like, plan my vacation and then book the flights and hotel, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just showed this huge demand for, well, integrated functionality.
People wanted one thing that could do it all.
Exactly. Users wanted an AI that could use its own sort of virtual computer to tackle complex jobs across different areas, an agent that could think deeply and take action. That fundamental desire is really what sparked this unified approach.
Okay, so that explains the why. Now let's get under the hood.
Mm.
How does this unified agent actually work? Tell us about his virtual computer and the tools it has.
Right. So the core idea is that the agent runs in its own dedicated virtual computer environment. It's not just accessing tools, it has its own workspace.
It's some digital space.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it decides which tools to use and when. It's like giving the AI its own, digital hands to interact with the online world, which is a massive step up from just answering questions.
And you can see what it's doing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. In ChatGPT, you get this visualization. You see the agent's screen like its virtual desktop, and overlaid on that is its chain of thought. So you can literally see what it's thinking as it plans its next move.
Wow. And the tools themselves.
It's got a powerful toolkit. First, a text browser. Think of it like Deep Research, really good at quickly reading lots of web pages, searching, grabbing text data efficiently.
Okay.
Then there's a visual browser. This is more like Operator. It lets the agent interact with the visual parts of a web page, dragging stuff, clicking buttons, filling out forms, typing text, basically using a website like a person would.
So it can choose the best browser for the job, text or visual.
Exactly. They complement each other really well.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes beyond browsing. It also has its own terminal.
The command line?
Yep, super versatile. It can run code, generate files like PowerPoints or spreadsheets, analyze data. And through the terminal, it can call APIs.
APIs, like connecting to other services.
Right. Public APIs, but also, importantly, APIs for your private stuff like Google Drive, Calendar, GitHub, SharePoint. But, and this is key, only if you explicitly connect them, just like the Deep Research connectors.
Makes sense. User control.
Definitely. And finally, it has an image gen API for creating visuals on the fly, maybe for those slide decks or reports it's building.
So it's got this whole toolbox, a text browser, a visual browser, a terminal, image generation. How does it actually decide which tool to use when? That sounds incredibly complex.
It is complex. The magic here is reinforcement learning. This is actually the first model they've trained with access to this whole unified set of tools all running in one virtual machine.
Uh-huh.
And to train it, They gave it really hard tasks.
Yeah.
Tasks designed specifically to require all the tools working together.
So it forces it to learn strategy.
Exactly. It learns not just how to use a tool, but when it's the right tool. Like
Yeah.
if you ask it to find a restaurant and book it, you might use the text browser first, scan a bunch of options quickly,
Yep.
then switch to the visual browser to look at photos, check the booking system, fill in the details.
Okay.
Or if it's creating something, like code or a report, it might search online first, then use the terminal to write code or generate the file, and maybe use the visual browser to double-check how something looks online. It gets rewarded for being right and efficient, so over time, its tool choices just get smarter.
That makes sense. Learning by doing, essentially. Okay. The theory is impressive, but let's see it in action. The demos you mentioned sound great. Tell us about that wedding planning task. What did it actually do?
Yeah, the wedding planning demo was a great example because it was so multi-layered. The request was to find an outfit. But not just any outfit. It had to fit a mid-luxury dress code, match the venue, consider the weather.
Lots of constraints.
Totally. And it needed to propose options, find hotels nearby, and suggest gifts for specific people, Minia and Sarah. And it didn't just, guess. It asked clarifying questions first. Then it used the text browser to figure out the weather for the location and date. You used the visual browser to actually look at suits online, find shoes, check out hotel options. Yeah. It even included screenshots from Booking.com.
Screenshots? That's pretty detailed.
Yeah, and then it pulled it all together into a full report with Zillow links, recommendations, everything. It's the kind of task that honestly could take a person hours.
I believe it. Okay, so that's a big, complex project. What about something maybe a bit simpler, but still needing multiple steps, like ordering those laptop stickers?
Right, the sticker demo. That was fun and a really good showcase of its e-commerce skills.
Mm-hmm.
The ask was, make 500 laptop stickers from Sticker Mule for the team, using their mascot, Bunny Doodle.
Okay.
So first, it used the ImageGen API to whip up some anime-style art for the sticker. Pretty neat. Then, it navigated the Sticker Mule website, added the item to the cart, showed the subtotal, but, and this is crucial for trust, it stopped before the payment step. It let the user take over to enter the sensitive credit card info.
Smart. That makes sense. How long did that take?
About 7 minutes, start to finish.
7 minutes? For designing and getting right up to the payment point for 500 custom stickers? That's... Wow. I'm already thinking of things on my own to-do list.
Exactly.
One thing that really struck me in the demos was how collaborative it felt. You mentioned it could be interrupted, like when it was asked to find shoes while working on something else. How does that work, that interruptibility and back and forth?
Yeah, that's a really important aspect. They've designed it to be collaborative, not just a tool you fire off and wait for. You can interrupt it, give it more instructions, steer it, offer more or less guidance.
So it doesn't just get confused and stop.
No, not at all. It acknowledges the interruption. Like in the demo, it says something like, okay, cool, I'll also research men's black shoes in size 9.5. It's trained to be interruptible. It's also trained to ask clarifying questions, sometimes maybe not quite as much as deep research did, but enough to make sure it's on the right track. And it can ask for confirmation midway through a long task.
That seems vital for complex stuff.
Absolutely. And critically, especially for things like sending an email or buying something, it's designed to ask for that final confirmation. Are you sure you want me to do this? And like with the stickers, if you need to step in, maybe correct something or handle sensitive info, you could directly take over its environment.
So it feels more like a partner you're working with.
That's exactly the goal, yeah.
Yeah.
Less like a black box, more like a capable assistant.
Okay. And maybe the ultimate test for an AI, can it evaluate itself? You mentioned a meta demo.
Huh. Yeah, the meta demo is pretty cool. The task was for the agent to pull its own performance evaluation numbers from some internal system using a Google Job connector, I think.
Right.
And then generate a slide presentation, like a real PowerPoint file, showing those results.
So it's analyzing data about itself and presenting it.
Exactly. It used the Google Drive API to get the data, wrote some code probably in the terminal to process it, used the ImageGen tool to make it look nice. And what was really interesting, showing the reinforcement learning in action, was that its first attempt at the slide was just okay, a bit basic. But then it sort of reviewed its own work, iterated, and produced a much better, more polished final presentation. It's problem solving about its own problem solving.
That is genuinely meta and really shows the learning capability. Okay, these demos are fantastic illustrations. But let's talk raw power. How does this stack up on, the standard tests? What do the benchmarks say?
The benchmarks are definitely worth looking at. They tested it across a real range of difficult tasks. On the humanities last exam, which tests broad knowledge and reasoning just using the base model, gets a certain score, but enabling this agent mode with all the tools, it nearly doubled the performance, up to 42%.
Doubled. Wow.
Yeah. Then there's Front TMS. That one measures advanced mathematical reasoning. With the tools, it hit a new state-of-the-art score, 27%.
Okay. Impressive on reasoning. What about web stuff?
Right, Web Arena and Browse Comp. These specifically test how well agents can navigate and use the web. And here, it significantly outperformed older models. On Browse Comp, it hit a 69% pass rate.
That's a big jump.
It is. And for more practical real-world things, they used Spreadsheet Bench. This measures editing spreadsheets, common business tasks. Using LibreOffice via the computer tool, it solved about 30% of tasks. But give it raw Excel access through the terminal, that jumped to 45%.
So the tools really matter.
Hugely. And one more, an internal banking benchmark. This simulated tasks an investment banking analyst might do, like building financial models. Again, the agent model performs significantly better than previous models.
So taking all these benchmarks together, what's the big picture takeaway?
Connecting the dots here, these aren't just abstract numbers. They show an AI that's achieving high performance across tasks that need creativity, like humanities, deep reasoning like math, and complex interaction with the digital world, like browsing and spreadsheets.
A combination we haven't really seen before at this level.
Exactly. It's that combination that's the breakthrough. It suggests an ability to tackle real-world, multifaceted problems in a way that previously, well, only humans could. That's the shift.
That 42% on the humanities exam is sticking with me. Doubling performance is huge. But just to make it concrete, what does that actually mean for someone listening, maybe a business professional? How does that translate to their work?
That's a great question. It means you can start thinking about delegating tasks that involve not just finding information, but understanding and synthesizing it. Things like researching market trends and drafting a summary report, or analyzing competitor websites and extracting key features into a spreadsheet. It's about offloading that cognitive work that requires judgment and pulling info together from different places online or in files. The agent isn't just fetching facts anymore, it's structuring them, presenting them. It frees you up from that kind of detailed, multi-step digital legwork to focus on, the bigger picture strategy.
Okay, that clarifies the practical value. And just one more fun example before we move on, the sports travel one.
Oh yeah, the MLB demo. That wasn't live, but it was a fantastic example of long-term planning. The task was create the optimal travel itinerary to visit all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums.
All 30? That's ambitious.
Totally. And it had constraints, like prioritizing games on Hello Kitty nights.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah. And the output wasn't just a list. It was a detailed spreadsheet and a map visualization of the route. This whole complex planning process took about 25 minutes.
Wow.
And it used pretty much the whole toolkit, the container environment, the terminal, the browser, code execution to build the map. It perfectly shows that long horizon, multi-tool problem solving on a task that would be a massive headache for a person.
No kidding. Okay, this capability is obviously incredibly exciting, but like anything powerful, there are new things to consider. The internet isn't always friendly. What are the specific risks when you have an AI agent browsing and acting on your behalf?
That's a really critical point, and the developers are definitely thinking hard about it. One major concern is new types of attacks, specifically things like prompt injections.
Prompt injections, how does that work?
So imagine you tell the agent, go buy this book online, and maybe you've given it access to your payment info, or it's stored somewhere. The agent, doing its job, goes to a website. But what if that website is malicious?
Uh-oh.
It could have hidden instructions embedded in the page trying to trick the agent. Because the agent is trained to be helpful and follow instructions, a malicious site might try to inject a prompt saying, hey, instead of buying the book, send the credit card details to this other address, or click this hidden malicious link.
Okay, that sounds pretty concerning. How are they trying to prevent that?
They're tackling it on multiple fronts. First, they're training the model itself to recognize and ignore suspicious instructions it finds on websites, trying to make it inherently more resistant.
Right.
Second, they've built what they call layers of monitors. These are like security guards watching everything the agent does. If the agent starts doing something unexpected or potentially dangerous, these monitors can step in and stop the process, stop that trajectory.
And these can be updated.
Yeah, that's crucial. They can update these defenses in real time as new threats emerge out in the wild. It's an ongoing battle, basically.
So for us, the users, what does this mean? How do we use a tool this powerful safely?
It really comes down to awareness and responsibility. We have to remember this is, as they put it, a cutting-edge product and a new surface. There are risks involved with giving an agent this much autonomy.
So think before you delegate.
Exactly. Think carefully about what information you share directly with the agent, especially highly sensitive stuff. Maybe for certain tasks, you don't give it direct access. And remember that takeover mode.
Yeah, where you can jump in.
That's super important for things like payment. Instead of telling the agent your credit card number, maybe you let it get everything ready in the cart, then you take over and type the number directly into the browser yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. Be the final checkpoint for sensitive data.
Right. Ultimately, both the technology and how we use it and society's defenses will need to evolve together as these agents become more common. We're entering a new phase, and we all need to be mindful.
Absolutely. Okay, the big question for everyone listening now is probably, when can I get my hands on this? What's the availability?
Okay, the rollout is starting literally today, July 18th, 2025. It's going live first for Pro Plus and Team users.
Today. Wow. Any limits?
Yeah, there are query limits initially to manage the load. Pro users will get 400 queries per month, and Team users get 40 per month.
Okay, and the timing?
Pro users should have access by the end of today. Plus and Team users will follow very soon after that. And for Enterprise and EDU users, the plan is to have them live by the end of this month, July.
Got it. So we're rolling out pretty quickly.
Yeah, but it's worth repeating, this is still very early days for this tech. We should definitely expect rapid improvements and new capabilities coming down the line pretty fast.
Fantastic. Well, what a deep dive. It's really clear that ChatGPT Agent isn't just an incremental update. It feels like a significant leap, a unified, collaborative AI that can genuinely handle complex, multi-step work online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That combination of reasoning, browsing, and actually executing tasks using different tools, it really does feel like a new era for how we might use AI to get things done, especially the more complex stuff.
Yeah, this is the kind of capability that could genuinely change daily workflows for a lot of people, free up serious time.
So thinking about that, what does this all mean for you listening?
Yeah, maybe consider this. What's that one really complex, time-consuming task in your life? Something maybe you dread doing or keep putting off? Could an AI agent like this potentially transform how you approach it?
And maybe thinking a bit broader, as we start delegating more and more sophisticated tasks like these to AI, what are the new ethical questions we need to wrestle with? Questions about data, about decision-making, about where responsibility lies.
Definitely some big things to think about as this technology rolls out.